Shutting down torrent sites doesn't stop piracy. Be careful about how you disclose security vulnerabilities, aka the first rule about hacking planes in flight. Don't tweet about hacking planes in flight. And what happens to your personal data when a retailer goes out of business? All that coming up now on ThreatWire. Happy Monday, people. I'm Patrick Norton, and this is ThreatWire for May 18th, 2015, your summary of the threats to our security, privacy, and internet freedom. If you're new to ThreatWire on the Hack 5 channel, this is the show we did for a year on TechFeed, and now we've brought it back, and we are so stoked that you are out there and watching. Now, in news that won't shock anybody that's been following the war against drugs for the last 4 or 5 decades, yeah, guess what, people? Shutting down pirate sites doesn't actually stop piracy. No, really, the European Commission Joint Research Center did a study, I'm going to quote this, online copyright enforcement, consumer behavior, and market structure. Basically, they looked at what happened after law enforcement in Germany, Spain, France, and the Netherlands worked together to shut down Kino.to. They arrested more than a dozen people, they raided homes and data centers, and to sum it up, they wiped Kino.to off the map. And what happened? Well, Kino users' privacy, they tracked it, dropped around 30% after Kino was shut down for about 2 months, while the use of licensed movie platforms, quote, increased by only 2.5%. And by the way, after that 2-month drop, the piracy went back up again. Basically, the idea is that this investigation and the cost of the trials might have actually cost a lot more than movie producers recovered from the shutdown of the site. And predictably, several new sites popped up to replace Kino.to. Apparently, if you're into whack-a-mole, something like 22, or as the report dryly notes, the streaming piracy market was able to quickly recover from the intervention. Now, there's a really great article on this also. That was Torrent Freak. If you go to wired.co.uk, they fundamentally asked, did the raid do any good? The report falls short of saying not at all. The Kino.to site was shut down way back in 2011. Before Wired.uk notes, there were many, quote, legal streaming alternatives in Germany. Frankly, let's face it, watching video on the internet has changed a lot in the last 5 years, or as the report puts it, okay, 4 years, or as the report puts it, quote, the results of these anti-piracy interventions may be very well different in an environment with more and better licensed offers available to consumers. It's an interesting conversation because the reality is now they have 22 sites to try to shut down instead of one, or alternatively, one place to market to has turned into 22. In any case, lots more of info up on Torrent Freak and Wired.uk. Props to Wired for going in deep on how the data for the report was generated. It's kinda interesting. Hacker hijacks plane with nothing but laptop is an awesome title, especially if you've got those really cool fear-generating graphics that Fox is so good at. But the story of Chris Roberts, who, yes, has used a modified Ethernet cable to tap through the in-flight entertainment system of a commercial airliner to frickin' access the flight control system, is a little messier than that. First up, he tweeted about it, which led to him spending some quality time with the FBI. Not arrested, not charged, just talking. About, you know, how he'd, quote, and I'm quoting the FBI here, he had exploited flaws with the IFE systems on aircraft while in flight. He compromised the IFE systems approximately 15 to 20 times during the period 2011 through 2014, IFE being in-flight entertainment, which oddly enough in this particular airline and this particular airliner led to being able to control the flight systems. No, really. At one point, according to the FBI, getting into the thrust management computer on the airplane he was flying inside of with other people, issuing a CLB or climb command which, quote, caused one of the airplane's engines to climb, resulting in a lateral or sideways movement of the plane. I'm really torn between the fact that Roberts has been telling the airlines about this for a long time, i.e. if someone plugs into an open Ethernet jack on your plane, they can get access to the things that make the plane move or fall out of the sky, and being really horrified that Mr. Roberts did his pen testing on a plane that was, you know, full of passengers and in the sky. So maybe the tweet will get the security hole fixed, though so far Roberts has found the FAA and airlines less than interested in closing it. As a longtime RadioShack customer, I gotta say, I'm kind of thrilled the state of Texas is leading the charge by several states to, quote, oppose the sale of personally identifiable information by RadioShack, and that the FTC and, hey, even wireless carriers and Apple are concerned about privacy policies that you agree to, that they're actually upheld when a company goes bankrupt and starts selling or auctioning off its assets. PC World is a really good write-up. FTC recommends conditions for sale of RadioShack customer data, and it's kind of interesting because you may have, I'm sure, Most of you have given up data in exchange for discounts or to get, oh, I don't know, registration, warranty, whatever it is. But essentially, the director of the FTC's Bureau of Consumer Protection, Jessica L. Rich, says the FTC's concerns about the data sale not being in line with RadioShack's privacy policy would, quote, be greatly diminished, quote unquote, if, say, the data was sold to a similar type of business that would, and I quote again, adhere to the privacy policies that customers like me agreed to when they gave the information to RadioShack. So PC World notes that, quote, alternatively, RadioShack would have to take permission from customers to transfer their data. Information of customers who do not agree would have to be purged. This is a big deal. RadioShack, it's in bankruptcy and selling off whatever it can to pay creditors, which of course includes all of the consumer data they've collected over the years. Not credit card type info, but over 8 million email addresses, PC World notes, and a customer database of names and addresses 67 million strong, quote, of which approximately 11.9 million made a purchase in the last 12 months. That is a lot of potential junk mail, people. We'll see what happens. Before I go, I want to give a huge thanks to everyone who supported ThreatWire so far on Patreon. If you like the show, if you get some value from it, and you can spare a few cents an episode, please consider becoming a patron of ThreatWire at patreon.com/ThreatWire. We may even feature one of your adorable fur babies like these ones in the next episode. We are hoping to reach our 3 times a week milestone goal. It's a rotation, Darren Kitchen, Shannon Morris, and myself. And what we're doing throughout the month of May is giving you a taste of just that. First taste, always free, people. I hope you'll contribute to help us keep this coming completely independent and ad-free. And if you can't donate, a like, a share, and a subscribe goes a long way too. You can find all of our episodes, links to our social networks, and other ways to contribute over at threatwire.net. And with that, I'm Patrick Norton, and I'll see you on the internet.